Hello and welcome to my show. Glad to have you guys here. I've got a ton of stuff I want to get to, and the fight has just begun. And I am not giving up, and I am not capitulating, and I am not going to recognize Joe Biden as my president. It makes no sense that he supposedly won the popular vote when the down ticket was gigantic for Republicans, for conservatism, and a massive rejection of Antifa, Black Lives Matter, socialism, all of those. So it makes no sense whatsoever that Joe Biden should take the presidency. And the number one reason why I am not going to recognize Joe Biden as my president and this election as illegitimate is I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I and you have been called every name in the book for the last 4 years. We've been called white supremacists and Nazis. We've been told that we are guilty. We are told that because of slavery is our fault. People need to get government checks because they're descendants of slaves. You are a Nazi. You support Donald Trump. You are a Nazi. I've had people unfriend me on Facebook. I got a note from someone this morning who's very near and dear to me, essentially saying she was sorry that she banned me from Facebook. She banned me from messaging her, said I was no longer going to be a part of her life. This person is like a daughter to me. She said that because of my views, she didn't want to be in my life, and she would not allow me to message her. This morning, I get an email, a Gmail, that says that essentially that she's sorry. So she tried to hold me hostage, and I love her. I love her, and I'm not saying I'm giving up on her. I'm not. Because I don't do that to people I love. But this person suddenly, after the election is over and everything, wants to be my essentially stepdaughter again. She, like so many people, held the friendship that I have with them at hostage. I've had my friends in Maryland, several of them that I'm not allowed, I'm not welcome in their homes anymore. And it's because of my extreme views, apparently. I've got extreme views. Then why haven't all my conservative friends abandoned me? If my views are so extreme, why haven't my conservative friends abandoned me? Okay? So we've been called racist and Nazis and white supremacists and white nationalists and all of this stuff. We've been told that you should kneel during the national anthem. You should raise your fist when Black Lives Matter walks by your table and you're eating outside. And I say no. And a giant F no. Let's just go ahead and say a giant F no. Less than half of America believes Joe Biden won the election. Less than half of the American people, according to a new survey by the News Daily and independent pollster Scott Rasmussen. The survey, fielded November 5th through the 7th among 1,200 registered voters, asked respondents, who do you believe legitimately won the presidential election? And overall, 49% believe Biden won. 1/3 of voters, or 34%, believe Trump won the election. 16% are not sure. Of course, this is split along party lines because the Democrats were able to, at least right for now, steal the election from us. I have a really good piece by Stu Sirk. I believe it's Sirk or Verk or whatever. Anyway, it's from, I think this is from Red State. It's a wonderful story. It's called The Complete Illogic of a Biden Victory. I'm going to get into this and some other stuff, and I've got some great video. I want you to check it out, and you can write me. You can text me here on MAGABook, which, by the way, I've gained. I went from 3,280 followers last week to almost 18,000 this week. Huge, huge, huge. Also, my Parler page is gigantic, and my Rumble page, huge. The logic of voting for Joe Biden, we are expected to believe that more Americans voted for a thoroughly compromised candidate who did not even campaign down the stretch than voted for both Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Clinton. Even the media could not hide Biden's serial gaffes and senior moments when he did appear in public during the campaign, nor could they dispel or refute the evidence of massive Biden family corruption in Ukraine, Kazakhstan, China, and elsewhere that was exposed in the last weeks leading up to Election Day. There was zero enthusiasm for Joe Biden. No sitting president who increased his total vote by 12% over the first electoral totals has ever failed to be elected. So more people came out to vote, 12% more than the last time voted for Donald Trump. The key swing states in contention, including North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Nevada, the turnout in those swing states far exceeded historical norms and other statistical anomaly, and a clear indication of ballot harvesting and voter fraud. Lack of enthusiasm for Joe Biden could not have accounted for those turnout increases from 2016, but ballot harvesting via mail-in ballots could. All mail-in ballots would have been printed by state government agencies or their contractors, and records would be available to determine where and when those ballots were distributed and collected. And we are supposed to logically conclude that a damaged candidate with no constituency or support who did not aggressively campaign for the votes somehow garnered these numbers. Now listen to this. This is what happened, and I said this from the get-go. A trigger was reached on election night. 4 states shut down their vote. When a trigger was hit, it was deliberate. And then those municipalities involved were able to flood the system with tons of ballots. I've got some video I'm going to share in Philadelphia of thousands of ballots being picked up the day after the election. I'm going to share that. On election night at about midnight Eastern Standard Time, President Trump led comfortably in those and other swing states to a degree that Las Vegas betting odds gave him a 75% chance of being reelected. I saw this. 1 hour later, Democrat-controlled North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Nevada paused their vote counting for over 3 hours simultaneously. Why? Why? Why not Alaska? Why not Montana? Why not California? Why not Iowa? Why not Kansas? Why? Why those states? Why was this done seemingly in coordinated fashion has never been satisfactorily explained nor even investigated by the legacy media, yet in each of those states sufficient votes were magically found that put Biden over the top. Down-ballot Republicans were victorious on Election Day. Not one Republican representative running for re-election was defeated, and Republicans will add a half dozen more seats to their current totals, including several new women and Hispanic representatives. Pending the runoffs for 2 U.S. Senator seats in Georgia, Republicans will have excuse me, held on to their U.S. Senate majority. The Democrats did not flip a single state legislature of all those they targeted, while the Republicans flipped both houses in New Hampshire. Not a blue wave, kids. No previous U.S. president has ever lost his re-election bid while his party gained seats in the House of Representatives, yet we are expected to believe that Biden won at the top of the ticket despite all these Republican down-ballot victories. It doesn't make sense, and I'm not stupid. It's a load. It's a lie. It is it was a strategy by the Democrat Party. Right now, they're looking into the software in these states. And the Democrats don't want you to see the software. They don't want to get into the software and see what happened. They don't want you to. This was pre-planned, predestined. We saw James O'Keefe. He did a video, pardon my reach here, in Minneapolis where ballot harvesting was happening in nursing homes where people were being withheld food for votes. And they were being told to vote Democrat. This also happened in states like Nevada and in Pennsylvania, where 25,000 nursing home residents out of nowhere in different locations suddenly requested ballots at the same time. Again, I'm not stupid. Here is Tucker Carlson talking about at least 25 dead people who voted in different states, in all of these states.
The position of corporate media across the country this week has been very simple. There was no voter fraud. The New York
By the way, I'm done with Fox News, but I will still watch Tucker Carlson.
Times, once the paper of record, declared that as fact this morning across the entire front page. Look at this banner headline. Election officials nationwide find no fraud. No fraud, none. End of story. Move on and listen to Kamala. You're hearing virtually the same thing from everyone in the media. Everyone. At CNN, the anchors have been repeating the approved message for days.
We are not stupid.
They say it with a kind of brittle intensity that suggests precisely because they don't really believe what they're saying, you absolutely must believe it. Shut up and accept the verdict, America.
Yep.
Sources tell CNN that top aides are suggesting that the defeated President Trump, hold rallies to drum up bogus conspiracies about election fraud.
No state has announced a winner.
The GOP keeps spreading completely unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud.
You are effing North Korea. You should be ashamed of yourself.
The Attorney General now telling federal prosecutors to look into those unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud.
There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud. No evidence of widespread
You're a little toady. You're a little fop.
flaws in the mail-in voting process.
Bogus conspiracy theories, completely unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud. They say it again and again, but what exactly are they talking about? They won't tell you, so we're going to tell you. Right now, fewer than 15,000 votes separate Donald Trump from Joe Biden in the state of Georgia. It's close enough that it's worth getting specific about what happened there. And Georgia's Secretary of State has now confirmed there will be a hand recount of all votes cast in Georgia. Among those votes, auditors will find a ballot cast by a woman called Deborah Jean Christensen. It'd be hard to find anyone who's got a bad word to say about Deborah Jean Christensen. She was well known in her community for years as a bird watcher, an avid gardener, a committed fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. Those who knew her were sad when she died last May, and they might be surprised to learn that even after her death, Deborah Jean Christensen still managed to register to vote and then cast a ballot, presumably for Joe Biden. In some ways, it's...
So she not only registered to vote from beyond the grave, she also cast a ballot. Here is a woman in Philadelphia the morning after the election. This is what ballot harvesting looks like.
Ballots? Yeah. I thought they collected them all. I just want to document.
No, we're still collecting.
How much? Wait, but how come they already called the state?
She should have asked them, who are you? Who do you work for? Why are you gathering ballots this morning? Why didn't it happen last night? The ballot counting was supposed to stop last night at midnight in Philadelphia.
Because these are mail-in ballots.
Are there a ton in there?
Yeah.
All right, are you collecting from a lot of places?
I mean, look at the size of that bin. We're talking tens of thousands of ballots.
Yeah. All right, I'll just document. Thank you guys. Are you guys official election guys?
What did he say? Huh?
All right, and let me just ask you one thing. Where do you guys take them?
Tens of thousands of ballots. Where do you take them?
Election center.
Election center. Okay, yeah.
Is that in the government building?
LA County.
Okay. Thank you.
Where's the badge on the other guy?
Thank you.
Are there a lot more in there?
Yeah.
6 feet, please.
Okay.
6 feet, please. You ass.
Thank you guys. I just want to see because they
You
called the
ass.
state so quickly. I know. I am.
Look at all those ballots.
You don't have a mask either.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
You don't have a mask either. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The legacy media were chomping at the bit to claim Biden was victorious regardless of the facts. Never mind that many states have not certified no states have certified Biden as the winner, and the electors in the electoral college will not vote until the December 14th. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and the AP have already declared the election for Biden. The media don't declare winners in U.S. elections as their authoritarian cohorts in communist China do. Common sense dictates that the real result of the election was a Trump landslide victory that is in the process of being stolen through ongoing Democrat voter fraud. The Democrats orchestrated a Super Tuesday landslide that enabled the lackluster Biden to defeat socialist Bernie Sanders, and they did. They've done it before. The Chi-Com virus was exploited by the Democrat Party, especially Democrat governors and federal bureaucrats, advising President Trump to destroy his main political strength, the economy, regardless of the damage done to regular Americans, and they did. Virus statistics were cynically manipulated and hyped by the Democrat media complex from March through Election Day. Americans of the need to keep the economy shut down and also use the vote by mail instead of in person. Their vote by mail campaign was in reality camouflage for the massive voter fraud events on Election Day and thereafter. In the meantime, while Biden was hiding in the basement and refusing to campaign, President Trump beat the virus in record time and was a political juggernaut down to the stretch, finishing out with 3, 4, and finally 5 massive campaign appearances per day. And the voters were watching, including Democrats who turned out to those rallies in record numbers. And I might also add record numbers of minorities, blacks and Hispanics. Fox News refused to call Indiana and Florida for President Trump when it was obvious there was no chance for Biden to win in order to assist the Biden campaign narrative. Fox also called Arizona for Biden as soon as the polls closed. Done with Fox News. The Democrats apparently believe their own internal polling and woefully underestimated the turnout for President Trump on Election Day. They already knew they lost the election, guys. I've been saying this for months. They knew they lost the election before it happened, and they put this failsafe into position, and they executed it perfectly. And if Mitt Romney was in office, he'd already be bent over and saying, give it to me. Failure of their propaganda and the high turnout for President panic bigly as midnight approached on Election Day. Their carefully planned electronic voter fraud gambit failed because many blue precincts went for Trump bigly this year compared to 2016. At that point, the Democrats realized they didn't have enough votes in the electronic vote counting systems to elect Biden because President Trump was coasting to victory, according to vote tabulations in key swing states. This is the trigger I was talking about. They needed to pause in the counting to find more votes in those states, and this is exactly what they did election night, and as they reverted to what they had tried to avoid doing this year, voter fraud through the use of paper ballots. Democrat votes from paper ballots were found to put Biden over the top in swing states. These late votes were more than statistical anomalies since the preponderance of votes after midnight on Election Day. With the fraudulent ballots putting Biden ahead in several key swing states, the legacy media have now declared him to be the winner despite a lack of state certifications and many ongoing legal challenges. Meanwhile, President Trump received the largest number of votes of any incumbent president in U.S. history, and we're supposed to believe that it is entirely logical that a damaged candidate who did not even campaign for the job eclipsed President Trump's numbers. Come on, man. That's the title of the article. The complete illogic of the Biden victory. Get this, red state. It's a great piece. Now, you'll notice this up here real quick. See that? If you subscribe to my YouTube channel or my Rumble channel, one lucky winner is going to win a freezer full of Wagyu beef from Hassel Cattle Company. Okay? It's worth $300 or $400. You are also going to get a Pit Barrel Classic Cooker. It's like a 30-gallon sized barrel that you can use as a grill and you can use as a smoker. It is easy to use. It is one of the best built smokers I've ever seen. I've loved it since I saw it the very first time. Check out HassellCattleCompany.com, HASSELL, and also look at pitbarrelcookers.com, pitbarrelcooker.com. Somebody's going to win. You subscribe to me on Rumble. You subscribe to me on YouTube. You could be the winner for November. What an amazing gift for someone for Christmas, huh? Okay. Here is I want you to just remind you of the juggernaut that was Donald Trump. We will not let this die. We will not go quietly into the night, kids. Eric's watching. Hello, Eric. How are you, my friend? Share, will you please? Look at that. You think that's going away anytime soon? No, it's not. Hell no! %80 of Americans believe in the founding principles of the country. 80% are proud of the country. 20% are socialists who hate it. We are not going to let them lead us. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is playing in parking lots to 10 cars. We're not stupid. You You combine this with down ballot victories for Republicans and for freedom and for low taxes and low regulation and non-socialized medicine. A Biden victory could not have happened unless it was stolen. Could not have happened unless it was stolen. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to be called crazy. I'm not going to be called any more names. And by God in heaven, I am not going to accept this president, this president-elect, supposedly, Joe Biden, as my president. Apparently, they're very concerned that the inauguration, should it happen for Joe Biden, it could be a giant MAGA rally. And if it does happen that way, we should make it that. There's a big caravan going to Washington, D.C. It started in Austin, Texas. It's going to be there on Saturday morning. Some of the major media, social media companies have said it's not on. What do you think about this? Several very large social media companies are saying that the rally is not happening. It is happening. You take freedom of expression for granted until you lose it. I was led to believe that Facebook was a neutral body, originally just there to share family photos, vacation photos of your feet on a lawn chair, family pictures and all this stuff. And then people said they could share political stuff to an audience that they can create that would be attracted by them. I have attracted up to 100,000 people a week on my Facebook page organically. Do you know why organically? Because I can't boost anything. I can't sell my shirts. I can't sell. I can't boost a post. If I have a great show, I can't put $20 and boost it so it'll reach people. They demonetized me too. That was before election morning when they shut all my pages down. The day after the election, Facebook took away my privileges of communicating with my audience on every single one of my pages, even my personal page with my family. They took them all away, and they did it because of a post that I did on September the 5th that had already been resolved. They used that as an excuse to shut down my ability to reach the 100,000 people per week that I reach on Facebook. I can't broadcast there. My niece is trying to get a hold of me. She's like, "Where are you, Rob? Where are you?" I can't write her back. You sons of bitches. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can't put a video up that challenges the WHO with regard to their coronavirus lockdowns and their coronavirus approach. If you stray outside of the WHO, if you say anything bad about the WHO, your video will be stricken. The President of the United States is having links. Anything that calls into question the election results, the President of the United States is being flagged on Twitter. And what is really ridiculous is they actually think that they're flagging it and saying this could have false material is going to make a bit of difference to the people who believe this man. Unbelievable. Parler is now the number one app, a free app available in the world. You know what number 2 is? Newsmax. Newsmax. 70% of Republicans say 2020 election was neither free nor fair. A new poll. Oh, this is the political poll. It's a turd. Turd. CDC recommending virtual gatherings for your Thanksgiving. You know what I say to that? F you. Virtual gatherings or gatherings only with members of your household pose the lowest risk of spreading the virus. There's an increased risk when people gather with others from different households or with college students returning from school. Encourage guests to avoid singing or shouting, especially indoors. Keep music levels down so people don't have to shout or speak loudly. They want to come into your house and tell you how to celebrate Thanksgiving. That's what they want to do. They're in your house. They're in your house. Thanksgiving is a time when many families travel long distance to celebrate together. Travel increases the chances of getting and spreading the virus that causes COVID-19. Staying home is the best way to protect yourself and others. They never give up, do they? They never give up. And Joe Biden says that he's going to shut down the country for up to 6 weeks completely. And he's going to impose a national mandate for masks. And you know what I say to that? F you and your masks, F and you and your edicts. I will not live by them. And 69,999,999 people are going to join me. Okay? Thought you should know. Glenn Beck. I'm going to play a little bit of Glenn Beck's piece because this is how I feel this morning. This is how you feel this morning. He encapsulated it. The reason why Donald Trump is in the White House is because we got sick of Washington, D.C. We want to drain the swamp. It is not just a bumper sticker. It is massive corruption that allows people who go to Washington, D.C. as elected officials to become filthy, filthy, filthy rich and use our tax money and guide it to their pet projects like Joe Biden did with China and the Ukraine, getting a prosecutor fired for investigating an oil and gas company his son was involved in. His son was getting $80,000 plus a month from this gas company as a member of the board, and they were being investigated for corruption. And Joe Biden says that you don't get $1 billion in loan guarantees. You don't get it unless you fire the prosecutor investigating my son. You know the story. Hunter Biden got $10 million from a Chinese gas company for introductions. Hunter Biden got $3.5 million from the wife of the former mayor of Moscow. Russia is the template for the Democrat Party. Russia is the template. Because people who, the only way to become rich beyond your wildest dreams without building something, bringing it to market, having a special skill, providing a product, just by being elected, you can pull the strings on a $4.5 trillion company. Those are our national tax revenues. And if you're in charge of that, sky's the limit. And you can guide that money. People will do anything for you. The American people voted against that. And Joe Biden is getting ready to try to steal this election. He is trying to steal this election. And he will erase every ounce of progress we ever made in the last 4 years with our dream of draining the swamp and cleaning up Washington. Here is Glenn Beck.
For the last few days, I have, and I think you feel the same, had a gut punch.
Yep.
And I've been trying to put my finger on it, and I've been trying to figure out what to say to you and how to say it. And I think I just have to say it like this. I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I am worn out. I am fed up. I've had enough. I am tired of exposing corruption, doing our homework, going overseas and having documents translated to make sure they're exactly right, presenting the evidence. We know what's happening, except then once we expose it, nothing happens. Nobody goes to jail. Nobody pays for a damn thing anymore.
Yep.
Nothing.
That's the swamp.
If you and I did half the things that people in Washington do every day, you and I would go to prison.
Yep.
Clinton got away with it. Even the left knew that the Clinton Foundation was dirty. They sold uranium to our biggest enemy, Russia. Nothing. No. She can take confidential, top secret emails and put them on her server at her home. Something you and I would go to prison for.
Yep.
We would be in prison for the rest of our lives. Not a big deal. Benghazi? No. Not only did we show you that we were gun running to a group in Syria that became ISIS, that's what we were doing in Benghazi. Not only that, but just the killing of a U.S. ambassador, and, might I point out, on Veterans Day, we abandon our troops. Did anything happen?
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Mm-mm.
Because there are two classes of people in this country. We are the bourgeoisie, and they are the proletariat.
Nothing. Nothing. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of actually being open and saying, okay, well, let's look into the spying on this presidential candidate. That's a pretty hefty charge. Were they doing it? And then finding out, yes, they were, and nothing happens. He was colluding with Russia. My gosh, that should be the biggest scandal of all time if that were true. If it wasn't true, and it was started, and evidence, paperwork even showed that they knew, all the way to the White House, you'd think that would be even a bigger story. Lying to the FISA courts, nothing. Creating an enemies list, nothing. Using our own intelligence agencies to assist in this operation. Spending millions of dollars on a claim they knew that wasn't true. The collusion on Russia, they knew it before the president was ever elected.
And they went ahead and did it. And they talked about it for 2 years. And they said Russian collusion was real for 2 years. Journalists got prizes. Journalists got awards for reporting this lie. Nobody ever paid for it. Then the president was impeached for nothing. Joe Biden took away $1 billion, threatened to take away $1 billion from Ukraine unless they fired a prosecutor. Nothing happened. Bullshit. I'm done. I am done. But you know, there's no evidence of voter fraud. According to the mainstream media, not one lick of evidence, not a single lick. Even though Tucker Carlson just shared 25 people who died, who voted. One example that I played for you, and then there's this.
We keep hearing the drumbeat of where is the evidence? Right here, Sean. 234 pages of sworn affidavits. These are real people, real allegations, signed with notaries who are alleging the following, among other contentions. They are alleging, this is one county, Wayne County, Michigan. They are saying that there was a batch of ballots where 60% had the same signature. They are saying that 35 ballots had no voter record, but they were counted anyway, that 50 ballots were run multiple times through a tab.
The rest of the media is saying, you are crazy. She is crazy. When the evidence is clear.
Machine. That one woman said her son was deceased, but nevertheless somehow voted. These are one of many, many allegations in one county, in a county no less, where our poll watchers were in many cases threatened with racial harassment. They were pushed out of the way, and Democrat challengers were handing out documents how to distract GOP challengers. These are real, and anyone who cares about transparency and the integrity of the system should want this to pursue to the discovery phase.
But the mainstream media and the Democrat Party don't want the truth. They don't want it to be laid bare. Now, it would make sense, wouldn't it? I mean, if you really believe that that voter fraud is real. I mean, both parties should agree on voter fraud, right? Both parties should agree. But no, they don't. This is Jim Jordan, Representative Jim Jordan, wondering why the Democrats aren't willing to work with us to expose voter fraud.
72 million Americans.
By the way, we know the answer.
Just know instinctively something doesn't smell right here. Why is it in the state of Pennsylvania some people were allowed to cure their ballot, other people weren't? Why is it in the state of Pennsylvania some counties allowed pre-canvassing of ballots, other counties did it? Why is it in Pennsylvania that they set up temporary satellite offices where people could go vote in some counties, but other counties didn't? And you can imagine which counties did these things. So all these irregularities, all the people who have come forward with concerns, all we're saying is, let's investigate. This is about the integrity of the American election system. Let's investigate. And frankly, why won't Joe Biden and the Democrats join us in making sure we have fair elections?
We know the answer.
Well, you would think everybody just wants a fair and free election. That is the foundation of our free economy.
No, they don't.
So, Congressman, do you think there's enough time to get all this done? I mean, when you look back to the 2000 recount, Gore versus Bush, and that was a contested election. That was only one state, Florida. They were looking at different counties, but it was one state. Here you've got several states. You've got Michigan. You've got, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada. Do you think they're going to have enough time to prosecute and be heard?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, the law and the Constitution are clear about this. We have until December 14th until the Electoral College meets. Let's go through this. Let's figure it out. Maria, this is the first time in American history we've tried this experiment where live ballots were just sent out to everyone. We have a staffer who works for our office, works for the Judiciary Committee, a staffer who lives in D.C. She got her ballot mailed to her, and 4 other ballots came to her apartment for people who did not live there. That's the situation we found ourselves in this election in so many areas. Figure this out so that if there are big problems, which it sure seems like there are, it doesn't happen again.
It makes no sense, and we're not stupid. It makes no sense that down ballot. Republicans flipped a House. Republicans added members in the House of Representatives because of Donald Trump. They did. They won because of Donald Trump. Then why didn't Donald Trump win? They won because of Donald Trump. Why would that one check mark on the ballot go completely against everything they believed in the down ballot? We're not stupid. Oh, and we've had so many people betray us. Fox News, their ratings have plummeted, and it's because they really effed up. They really screwed the pooch. Fox News has added Donna Brazile to their lineup. She fed Hillary Clinton debate questions in the last presidential election. Fox picked her up. They also have Juan Williams on there and others. Shepard Smith is no longer there. Chris Wallace is a tool. Chris Wallace went after the president viciously during the first debate, skewed it completely against the president. We all know it. You know why? Because we're not stupid. And Fox News called the election, called the state of Arizona, but when the polls closed. You only get one shot, man. You only get one shot, and then we're done. But they didn't stop there. Here's Neil Cavuto shutting off Kayleigh McEnany, spokesperson for the president.
What's been going on in some states, notably Pennsylvania, with the vote count. Let's listen in.
One party in America that opposes verifying signatures, citizenship, residency, eligibility. There is only one party in America trying to keep observers out of the count room. And that party, my friends, is the Democrat Party.
She is stating fact.
You don't take these positions because you want an honest election. You don't oppose an audit of the vote because you want an accurate count. You don't oppose our efforts at sunlight and transparency because you have nothing to hide. You take these positions because you are welcoming fraud and you are welcoming illegal voting.
She is saying the truth.
Our position is clear. We want to protect the franchise of the American people.
Okay, what's wrong with that? Nothing.
We want an honest, accurate, lawful count.
Again, what she's saying is the truth, and every American should want this.
We want maximum sunlight. We want maximum transparency.
Again, what's wrong with that? But wait, Neil Cavuto is going to cut her off.
We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to be...
I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this. I want to make sure that maybe they do.
I can't in good countenance.
Have something to back that up. But that's an explosive charge to make, that the other side is effectively rigging and cheating. If she does bring proof of that, of course, we'll take you back.
Well, yeah, she showed me about 280 pages here a little while ago. Let me see if I got Tucker Carlson here. I wasn't going to run this, but I want to see if I still have the Tucker Carlson response to this. Yeah, here it is. This is Tucker calling out Cavuto.
Country where a large percentage of our population no longer believes that our democracy is real. That is sad. It is also dangerous. It could easily get worse. What we're doing in response is hardly the solution. It is making our country much more volatile. It is setting us up for something bad. In a democracy, you cannot ignore honest questions from citizens. You're not allowed. You can't dismiss them out of hand as crazy or immoral for asking. You can't just cut away from coverage you don't like. You can't simply tell people to accept an outcome, because force doesn't work in a democracy.
I believe that Newsmax is hiring, and if they hired me, they'll hire anybody. Actually, Glenn Beck is trying to get Tucker Carlson to jump ship. You only get one chance. And if you betray our trust, we're done. We gave Fox a lot of chances. I know a bunch of people who've dropped their Fox app. They picked up their Newsmax app. I got mine. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tired of being told I'm crazy. I'm a Nazi. I'm a white supremacist. And they want to reconcile. There's no reconciliation. When you call me a Nazi and a white supremacist, and a racist and a sexist or a homophobe or a transphobe, and you throw a tantrum for 4 years, it results in billions of dollars worth of damage, friendships being destroyed, police officers being killed or injured. You throw a tantrum for 4 years. I'm not going to reward your tantrum, you child. I'm not going to reward your tantrum. I'm not going to go quietly into the night. I'm not going to accept my time out for 4 years. We are not going to be the polite, quiet conservatives of old. We are not going to be the George Bush voters. We are not going to be the Mitt Romney voters, because we have a president worth fighting for. A president who did what he said he was going to do, fulfilled promises, did amazing things, brought the U.S. poverty rate to an all-time low, brought black unemployment to an all-time low, same way with Hispanic, highest number of women in the workplace. And then a virus from China was played up by the media, and it was very obvious. You got to wear a mask everywhere you go. What does a mask do? A mask broadcasts fear. It is a constant reminder of this virus that exists, where everybody under 75 years old has a 99.997% chance of survival. And they've tried everything. Oh, yeah, you're going to have lung damage because of this. You're going to have whatever damage from this. I've known several people who tested positive for COVID. They're fine. I know one person had a pre-existing condition, a heart condition, major heart condition. He had to go to the emergency room, and he got sick. And guess what? Pneumonia could probably make him really sick and kill him, too. Hugh Pennington argues that he's a bacteriology professor. He argues that the discovery of the COVID-19 vaccine is as significant as development of the atomic bomb during World War II. The Manhattan Project in World War II led to the development of the atomic bomb. It is widely accepted that without their deployment, that conflict would have continued. Hundreds of thousands of service personnel and civilians would have died, with more misery and suffering for millions worldwide. The fact that the vaccine appears to give initial protection in 90% of cases is better than even the greatest optimist could have predicted, and even Pfizer had to admit they were a part of Operation Warp Speed, which was the president saying, get her done. The president also overcame a ventilator deficit, converted factories like MyPillow into ventilator factories. Now we're a net exporter. We sent a hospital ship to New York City. We took a convention center and made it into a giant hospital. Neither of them were used, and neither were the ventilators. And Chicken Little, the governor of New York, is still a selfish prick. He does not want the vaccine to be used before January, when presumably he says Joe Biden becomes the president. That's sick. That is sick. Pfizer did this independently. They didn't do this because of the president. They did this because the president said, "Hey, we're gonna get rid of some regulation, and you're gonna bring this. I know you can." None of this happened with H1N1, which I had, and I had a pneumonia with fluid in my lungs. 60 million people got it, and Barack Obama and Joe Biden did nothing. The results are significant for two reasons. Firstly, because the vaccine appears to be effective, and secondly, because there are, to date, no reports of side effects. Unbelievable that this happened. It is the Manhattan Project. Yeah, by the way, organizations of the big Donald Trump pro-march is happening. It's there's a Women for Trump co-founder Amy Creamer tweeted that the hashtag March for Trump is not canceled. Eventbrite shut them down and emailed everyone that it was canceled. First it was Facebook, next it was MailChimp, now Eventbrite. They are all trying to keep people from going to this march. This is like the Chinese shutting down Tiananmen Square before it could happen. It is. This is like China shutting down people coming to Tiananmen Square. Now, what China did was they allowed them to protest, and then they killed them all. Ran them over with tanks, crushed their bodies, and washed their bloody, beaten corpses into the sewer drain. That's what they did. AOC is pushing for a blacklist of people who worked with Trump. It's called the Trump Accountability Project. This is what they do in communist country. She said, is anyone archiving these Trump sycophants for when they try to downplay or deny their complicity in the future? I foresee decent probability of many deleted tweets, writings, photos of the future. In the future, this, of course, is what Stalin did. He erased people's pictures and erased them from history. I'm not going to live in this country. I'm not going to live in the country that she's espousing. Alarming rate of diseases of despair in the U.S. Study finds suicidal thoughts, drug and alcohol addictions have surged by 68% from 2009 to 2018. Biggest increases in diagnosis were seen among men and women ages 55 to 74 at 50% and 80% respectively. Suicidal thoughts and behavior diagnosis increased for most under the age of 18 by 280%, for those under 18 and by 210% for people from the ages of 18 to 34. My daughter broke down the other night. She says, I can't see my friends. She stayed at home for about 6 months for no reason. She goes to a school where about 3,000 people, 22,000 people maybe, work, study, staff, faculty, teachers, administrators, 2,000, and none of them died from COVID. If COVID is the black plague, if COVID more than anything in our lives shut down our ability to gather, shut down our ability to worship, shut down our ability to go to a restaurant or open a restaurant or own a restaurant or own a movie theater or go to a show or see a concert or see a Broadway show or have Thanksgiving dinner with your family. COVID was nothing compared to the Black Plague, the Spanish flu, even H1N1. But it was used because as long as the suffering continued, and how many emergency room live shots did you see? Loaded emergency rooms? None. Zero. None here. I worked for 5 months without a mask. One person in my dealership tested positive. He had no symptoms. Unbelievable. This is what people are doing. This is in Arizona. People are saying, no, Donald Trump is having the election stolen. If you think this is going away anytime soon, you're high. And if you think this isn't going to grow to crowds of 1 million people, you're high. Don't tread on me. That's what the Democrat Party and the media and big social media are attempting to do. They want you to trample everything. They want to move on. There's nothing to see here. Move on. There's nothing to see here. Let it go. You are insane if you think that the election was stolen. There is no evidence. Do not concede. Do not give up. I'm going to wrap things up. Follow me or subscribe to my channels on rumble.com, Rob Carson Show, where this show is, if you're watching it right now, yeah, hello. Or youtube.com, Rob Carson Show. I'm going to be moving from Facebook as soon as Facebook lifts my 1-month suspension. I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to urge all of my followers to move over there and to Parler. I'm on Parler as well. Because I will not live in North Korea. I will not live in North Korea. I will not accept the election results because they're a lie. They make no sense at all. And I'm not going to be told that I'm crazy, and I'm not going to be told that I'm wrong. Remember, the complete illogic of the Biden victory. Check that out. It's a really good piece. I believe it was on Red State. Have it. Have it ready. There's $1 million bounty out, by the way, for voter fraud. It's $1 million bounty. I'm trying to remember who it was. But there is $1 million bounty for voter fraud if it can be found and it can be proven, blah, 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 blah. We are up against gigantic odds. We are up against the news media. Now, Fox News is part of that. It's crazy, right? Fox News is just like CNN, just like MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC. They're just like them. So where are you going to go? Listen, I'm not a big deal right now, but big things are happening, and you're going to see more of me. And I will tell you this: I will never betray you. And there are other people in the media who will not betray you. Mark Levin will not betray you. Dan Bongino will not betray you. I will not bow. I will not break, in the words of Breaking Benjamin. I'm going to close this up with a beautiful piece. I'm not sure who put this together, but I found it. It's a Rudyard Kipling poem, and it fits this president perfectly. Let your spirits be buoyed and never stop fighting.
If, by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but are none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And, which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
I will fight for that man. I will fight for this country as founded. I will not let the word burners and the building burners and the radicals and the socialists won't live under the yoke of socialism. And neither will 70 million others of me. All right. It's time for me to go. You guys are awesome. I love you. I will never betray you. And I promise I will always deliver something that is entertaining and informative, okay? Follow me. Subscribe to my Rumble channel and my YouTube channel, okay, guys? In the meantime, stay strong and never, ever, 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 ever stop fighting. Talk to you soon.